I'm really excited for today's video. I'm making 3 salt cellars without a lathe. One of these will be given away to one of you, and I'm going to show you how to do it so you can make your own, if you want to. Stick around to the end to find out how you can win one of these salt cellars. Let's jump in. I'm making a few salt cellars out of some spalted maple. 2 will have flat bottoms, and 1 will have a concave bottom, and this will be done without a lathe. Let's go over some of the tools that you'll need. 1-inch Forstner bit, which will be our workhorse, and remove the bulk of the waste. Top bearing flush trim bit if you want a flat bottom. A round nose bit if you want a concave bottom. Sanding spindles attached to your drill and helps make sanding the opening very quick and easy. 3/16 brass rod. Naturally, you will need a router. We will need a template of some kind. You can make a template a couple of different ways. A compass is the method I used. Guide bushings if you want to use a round nose bit. Links to some of these tools can be found in the description below. I'm using a lid I messed up from a previous seller to roughly lay out my base and lid sections. I mill my lid stock close to final dimensions and then let them sit for a day or two because they'll want to warp again. I leave my lid stock oversized, and you'll see why in a bit. While the lids are chilling, I work on the bodies. Now the fun part. For both methods, this step is basically the same. I'm using the Forstner bit to remove the waste. No need for perfection. We are saving the router some work. It's a good idea to mark your offset on your stock if using a bowl bit. I didn't because I thought I could eyeball it. I end up coming too far in with the Forstner bit, and I'll show you what that mistake looks like if you don't mark your offset. This is method 1, bowl bit with guide bushing. My template is not made to accommodate the offset of the guide bushing, assuming I want to keep my opening at around 3 inches, which is the opening of the template. Instead, I decided I could live with a slightly smaller opening. This got a little sketchy because I needed to pull the bit out a little further than I would typically feel comfortable doing in order to clear the router base and to clean up the bottom of the bowl, but I went really slow and took very shallow passes and it worked out. This method is probably my preferred method, as of right now anyway. I use a spiral upcut bit to clean out the bottom 1/4 inch or so to get rid of the points left from the Forstner bit. This requires a tilt plunge if you don't have a plunge base. Don't do it if you don't feel comfortable doing this. This method can also be done with the flush trim bit, at least the one I use anyway. Just take really shallow passes and go slow. Before I shape the outside, I prefer to sand the opening. It's easier because there's still extra wood for a clamp to attach to without being in the way. I chuck a sanding spindle into the drill and burnish the bottom, which means I work my way up through the grits up to 1000. I sand the walls to 220 though. I don't apply finish on the inside, Any minor imperfections will be buried under salt. With the inside done, I can shape the outside. I bulk trim on the miter, rough shape it on the disc, which is 60 grit, and dial everything in by hand by moving from 120 to 220 grit. I like to leave the lid oversized at first. That way I can fit it to the base, not the other way around. I mark the base with painter's tape, place my holes for the brass rod and magnet, and then transfer it to the lid, and drill everything before final shaping. Once it's latched, I flip the whole thing over and trace the base from underneath. That line is my guide to sneak up on the final fit, and you'll see I don't even get to my line. I like leaving my lids just oversized so the lids don't sit flush against the base. I keep the finish very simple. Homemade wax on the outside. That's it. Simple, durable, and easy to maintain. This one is mine, and you can see where the Forstner bit came in just a smidge too far. This is what happens if you don't mark your offset. This one is from my wife's grandma. The bit was too far down, which caused the bit to gouge a little bit. This is why the lid pivot is placed where it's at, to help kind of hide that. But once salt is in it, you'll never see it. And this one is yours. No mistakes were made. I debated whether or not to fill these small holes, and I didn't like the idea of altering the story and character of the wood. I like it when things look intentional and handmade. I see no reason to start filling holes with black epoxy or super glue unless it's critical. This will be given away to one of you when the channel hits 500 subscribers. To enter the giveaway, you have to be a subscriber, and you got to leave a comment below. Any comment will work. I'll pick a winner at random and reply directly to your comment. If you win, email me from the same account tied to your channel so I can verify. I will only contact the winner by replying to their comment from my official channel. I will never ask for payment. That's it for this one. 2 methods, a few finished salt cellars, and 1 special piece ready to go. Some of the tools and accessories I use to make these will be linked in the description. Remember, the giveaway goes out when the channel hits 500 subscribers. And whether you were entering the giveaway or just watching, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next build.